Great day to you, all our learners. In our previous lessons, we have talked about the different types of assessment, and we have differentiated assessment as learning, assessment of learning, and assessment for learning. So in continuation, today we shall be talking about the different principles in assessing learning. Without so much ado, let's dive in. The first principle is stated as assessment should have a clear purpose. So when we assess, when we evaluate in our lesson, it's very important that we know why are we doing it? Why are we doing the assessment? And why is it the form of assessment that we are doing for our students? It means that we should have a big question in mind, or we should have a big picture in mind. What do I want my students to become? What do I want my learners to learn? In order for you to have a clear purpose of why you are assessing. With this, you are guided on what type of assessment you will have with your students, and you will be guided with not only with what type, and also with um, what level of learning based on um, Bloom's taxonomy or Krathwohl's taxonomy are we going to assess. Second principle is this: assessment is not an end in itself. When we assess, there is a result. The result give you the um, does not give you the end result of the student. For example, hindi niya sinasabing ito lang ang estudyante. Hindi porke nakakuha siya ng 75 ngayon, ay yun na yung pagkatao ng estudyante. Assessment is not an end in itself. It is just a guide to tell you whether your learners are showing development or not. So it's very important that we follow up yung grade niya, for example, ng first grading, compare it with yung grade niya ng second grading, and nalalaman ng learner that he improved or medyo lumegwak siya sa second grading, and so on. So assessment is not an end in itself. Actually, ang ginagawa ko sa klase ko, kung napapansin kong meron siyang, for example, medyo mahina siya ngayon, but when I assess within myself, kung alam ko na yung estudyante ay diligent naman at ganito yung kanyang kalalabasan in the future, medyo naglalagay ako ng plus sa kanyang grade. Kasi nga, assessment is not an end in itself. Hindi siya yung result ng assessment niya ngayon. The third one, assessment is an ongoing, continuous, and formative process. Yun nga, assessment is an ongoing process. It takes a series of tasks and activities conducted over time to tell you that the student develops. There is no student that is stagnated on one level based on the theories that you may be learning from your um, principles of teaching or yung teaching profession nyo. Walang estudyante na natitigil na dito sa level na ganito. Assessment is an ongoing, it is a continuous, and one assessment is the basis of another for it to be continuous and a formative process. For example, kung gusto mong nag-discuss ka ngayon, gusto mong malaman kung may natutunan ba sila, to a formative assessment. So, ganon. Ano? This assessment principle is congruent with the OBE principle of expanded opportunity, sabi pa. Expanded opportunity. Every assessment is an opportunity for the learners to improve, for them to learn. Next, the fourth one, assessment is learner-centered. Hindi learner-centered. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Assessment of learners provide teachers with an understanding of how they can improve their teaching, which corresponds to the goal of improving student learning. So, ano ba ang purpose kung bakit tayo nag-assess, di ba? For us to assess whether the students get what we want them to learn, and for us to assess ourselves kung natuturuan ba natin sila ng maayos. But we must take into consideration that assessment is learner-centered. Anong ibig sabihin nun? We must think about the students. Kaya ba nila? Huwag nating isipin na, ganito yung gagawin kong assessment kasi ito yung maganda, ito yung feeling ko, magaling akong gumawa ng ganitong assessment. Hindi. Ano ang kaya ng mga estudyante mo? Ano ang kaya nilang gawin? And ano pa ba? Ano yung kaya nilang gawin? Ano yung realistic na kaya mong gawin and kaya mong i-check and kaya mong i-feedback sa kanila on time? So yon, learner-centered. The fifth one, assessment is both process and product oriented. There are some kinds of assessment that you assess on the process. So parang ang ini-evaluate mo ay kung ano yung natutunan nila on the process of doing that. For example, pinagawa natin sila in TLE, pinagawa natin sila ng upuan. Ano? We do not solely assess on the product itself. Yung, napakaganda ng project ng upuan. Tama yung lahat ng dimensions, tama lahat ng measurements. Ang tanong, natuto ba siya? Siya ba talaga ang gumawa? So in this case, ang pwede nating i-assess is the process. Natutunan ba niya kung paano ang tamang pag-measure, paano ang tamang pag-handle ng saw, paano ang tamang pag-cut, paano ang tamang pagpukpok ng martilyo. Ayun. So we do not only assess the product but also the process. It is both process and product oriented. Even in essays, we do not solely judge or we do not solely assess the end product. Minsan nagbibigay ako ng points doon sa mga first, kaya may first draft, kaya may first practice pag performance task kasi doon na-assess din natin ang kanilang development. Hindi ka-attend na teacher lang doon sa final presentation ng performance task. Kasi very important that you provide feedback on the process of practicing, on the process of drafting, gano'n. Kasi nga, ito, number 5, principle, assessment is both process and product oriented. 6, assessment must be comprehensive and holistic. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? First, assessment must be comprehensive. Anong ibig sabihin? When we provide assessment to our students, make it sure na naiintindihan nila ang gagawin nila. For example, kung essay ang ipapagawa mo sa kanila, ilang page ang ipapagawa mo? Sabihin mo 10 to 25, parang pang doctorate na yon. Pwede nating sabihin na in 1 to 2 pages or sabihin natin, i-describe natin specifically, ang gusto ko sa essay nyo ay may title, meron siyang introduction, meron siyang body, meron siyang conclusion. And then, each paragraph should have a topic sentence and then supporting details and then end the sentence. And then, each paragraph should have a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 7 sentence. Pwedeng ganon. So, very specific para hindi na sila magtatanong. Pagbasa pa lang nila ng instructions mo, alam na nila kung ano ang gagawin nila. And then, you also provide them rubrics. Paano sila may iskoran? Para hindi na naman, ma'am, ilang points ito? Paano po may iskoran? So, lalagay mo din doon, grammatical, mechanical, lahat na ng iyong rubrics. ano, madali lang naman ang gumawa ng rubrics. Pwedeng mag-download ng rubrics. Basta tandaan mo lang na kailangan mong i-cite kung saan mo dinownload yung rubrics. Now, kung i-edit naman yung rubrics, kailangan sabihin mo pa din, edited from the original rubrics of, ilagay mo yung source mo. So, para nagsasite pa rin lagi tayo ng, ng sources natin. So, ayan. Assessment must be comprehensive and holistic. Holistic means it does not only assess one aspect of the students na naman. Pwedeng i-assess niya pwedeng ilagay mo din sa rubrics mo, ano bang ina-assess ng activity na ito, yung intellect lang ba? Or ina-assess mo din dito yung values kung paano nila gagawin? Or yung timeliness, kung paano sila punctual sa pagpasa ng grade. So, ilalagay mo din yon sa iyong rubrics or iyong criteria. And then seventh principle, assessment requires the use of appropriate measures. For assessment to be valid, the assessment tools or measures used must have sound psychometric properties, including but not limited to validity and reliability. Appropriate measures means that for example, kapag for example, sa nag-exam ka, nagpa-quiz ka, as much as possible, na-assess yan ng iyong principal or ng iyong quality assurance team. Kaya nga, for example, in big universities and schools, yung kanilang exams ay centralized. Meron na silang naka-prepare na exams and then i-download na lang ni teacher, i-edit niya based on kung ano yung natapos niya. In DepEd, ginagawa nila yan. There is, anong tawag nito? Meron sila dating prototype lesson plan, meron silang prototype test questions para doon ka na lang mag-download meron silang test bank, ang mga ibang universities din, ibang schools. Kami, for example, sa education, we have a test bank. So, based on kung ano para hindi kami mahirapan, yung test bank na yun, na-validate, na-test ang reliability, ready for parang siya, pang mock board exam. So, ayun. Yun yung ginagamit namin. Make sure, kung wala man kayong ganun, make sure na ipacheck nyo ang iyong mga assessment tools, especially the periodic exams, yung mga task descriptions nyo for performance tasks sa inyong principal. So, ayun. For us, para masabi na gumagamit tayo ng appropriate measures. And the last one, assessment should be as authentic as possible. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Authentic means makatotohanan. Authentic means pragmatic or practical. So, anong ibig sabihin? Huwag kang magbibigay ng assessment na ang setting ay sa Amerika. Ang setting, dapat, kung posible, is within the student's range, within the student's practical life experiences. Kasi I think, we believe, in principles of teaching, children or learners provide information more readily if the assessment is set on their locality, is set on their own context. So, assessment should be authentic as possible. Instead na, for example, example nito, in biology, ang ginagawa ng ibang teachers, imbes na i-memorize nila yung parts ng muscle, yung different types of muscles, different parts ng skeletal system natin, gumagamit sila ng palaka. Nasubukan ko din ito when we were in college and then timed siya. May naturuan lang para hindi mo siya i-memorize ng buo as one na nakakalito. So, ang ginagawa ng teachers, merong 10 upuan na different. For example, first chair dito lang sa isang hand, pangalawang chair doon sa isang paa, and then pangatlo dito sa may chest and abdominal area, and then pang-apat doon sa head, mga ganun. And then naka-time siya. 10 lang each item. Sabihin mo lang kung ano yung mga 10 na yon. So parang ganun. Very, very authentic. Kasi at least nakikita mo, actual na ginagawa. Ganon. No? So, yun. Those are the principles of some principles in assessing learning. Now, if you have questions, you may type them down. Now, for the application, for your task, for each principle, write a reminder to yourself as a teacher. First one, description must be directed to you. It must be written in 2 to 3 sentences. Third, it must be written in a clean sheet of one paper, but you can make it like an infographic. So when it is returned to you, you can place it on your workstation to remind you always of the reason why you do assessment. So, for example, number one, principle, sabi doon, assessment should have a clear purpose. So, ang reminder, form your big why to be shared to your students. This will motivate them to participate. Mga ganon. Ganyan lang. As simple as that. So, mag-form ka ng iyong utos sa sarili mo kung ano ang gagawin mo based doon sa principles of assessment na di-discuss natin. Yun lang. You will be passing this during your exam. Thank you.